So, have you ever really stopped to think about what separates someone who has a flash of success from someone who builds something that lasts? It's not about being lucky, and it's not just about raw talent. Nope, it's a totally different way of thinking. So, let's dive in and really explore the mindset of a true long term winner. And think about it. You know this is true. That viral video, that killer quarter, that sudden jump in your numbers, they're loud. They get all the buzz, all the attention. They're exciting, they're seductive, and they give you this instant rush that makes you feel like you're on top of the world right now. But the real stuff, the progress that actually matters, well, that's something else entirely. It's quiet. It's that daily habit nobody even sees you doing. It's the skill you're practicing when the doors are closed. It's that slow, steady buildup of trust and reputation. It doesn't need to shout. It just works. And right there, that's the trap, isn't it? We get so hooked on the noise of those short-term wins that when our own long-term efforts are quiet for a little too long, we start to think we're doing something wrong. And so we quit, usually right before the real magic is about to happen.
Okay, so how do we stay out of that trap? Well, it all starts with building a completely different foundation for how we think. We have to literally design a winning mindset from the ground up.
Here's the absolute core of it. Real long-term success isn't about these massive, heroic sprints of pure intensity. It's about a much simpler but way more powerful formula: showing up consistently and making sure you're pointed in the right direction. That's it. Look, anybody can go all out for a week, right? But you can't live your life in a constant sprint. It's just not sustainable. Long-term winners get this. So instead of relying on just pure effort, they build smart systems, habits, routines, relationships that grow and build on themselves over time. They let the power of compounding do the heavy lifting for them.
So we've got our foundation. Now it's time to build the actual framework on top of it. There are 7 key pillars that hold this entire mindset up. You can think of these like the essential support beams for any kind of lasting achievement.
All right, let's just quickly walk through them. It all starts with your perspective, right? Playing the long game by default and really respecting compounding. Then it's about your internal state, detaching from the need for applause and pushing through the boring parts. And finally, it comes down to strategy, building who you are, not just what you get, protecting yourself from big losses and, constantly checking the map to make sure you're still on course. Let's dig into that first pillar, because it's basically the default operating system for every winner. For them, thinking long-term isn't some strategy they just turn on and off. It is the lens they see every single decision through. It's automatic. And this is the question they're always asking. Not what's in it for me tomorrow, but where is this choice going to put me in 5 years? That one little shift in questioning changes absolutely everything. It forces you to prioritize real, sustainable growth over those fleeting temporary gains. Okay, let's jump to another critical pillar, and honestly, this one is a total game changer. It's all about building your identity. This is where you shift your focus from the goal itself to who you have to become to actually achieve that goal. I mean, think about it. Outcomes can be taken away from you, but the person you become, that's forever. And this just nails the difference. Most people are asking, what do I want? A promotion, a bigger house, more followers. But winners, they're asking a different question. Who am I becoming? Am I becoming more disciplined, more resilient, a better person to be around? The outcome just becomes a natural byproduct of that identity. So this all leads us to a really clear choice. We've seen the pillars, and they lay out 2 very different blueprints for how to operate. You can be a short-term thinker, or you can be a long-term winner. Let's really break down what that looks like. This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the path of reaction. You're constantly chasing notifications, looking for that quick hit, and then you just burn out. On the right, though, you have the path of intention. You're building a solid foundation, piece by piece, with a very clear destination in mind. One is just a frantic zigzag, and the other is a steady, strategic climb. It's really the choice between optimizing for right now versus building for your future. Okay, so we get the mindset, we see the blueprint, but how do we actually build it for ourselves? Let's get practical. Here is a 5-step construction manual you can use to start engineering this way of thinking today. So let's run through the manual. First, change your perspective. Start thinking in years, not weeks. Second, be strategic. Pick activities that compound, like learning a new skill or building strong relationships. Third, change your focus.
Stop obsessing over the daily ups and downs and just trust the process. Fourth, and this one is so important, make recovery part of the plan. Rest isn't lazy, it's essential for longevity. And finally, number 5, course correct. Check in with yourself every quarter or so to make sure all that consistent effort is still pointed in the right direction.
Now, when you really commit to this whole process, when you build that foundation and that framework, you stop just chasing goals. You start constructing something way, way more powerful, an unstoppable identity. This is the finished monument of all your effort. And this is the ultimate payoff. Seriously, stop trying to look impressive every single day. That's exhausting. And it's the short-term thinker's game. The real goal is to build a life and a career that when you look back over years, looks absolutely undeniably unstoppable. So what's the secret sauce? It's this combination right here. It's the patience to plant seeds and actually let them grow. It's the discipline to keep watering them, even on the days you don't feel like it. And it's the strategic wisdom to know you're planting in the right garden to begin with. Once you get that combination down, time stops being your enemy. It becomes your single greatest ally. And that leaves us with the only question that really, truly matters. Just for a second, forget what you want. With every little decision you make, every consistent action you take, every single day you choose the long game, who are you becoming?